Hey everybody, it's Chrissy Keith Rollins here, and I just wanted to hop on to do a quick little live to touch base for week 5, which is all around centering. I think centering is definitely one of the power tools that I keep up my sleeve as I go through life. It's one of the ways that I am able to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and yeah, it's just a key part of the way that I live my life. And there's a few different ways that you can really get to your center. Victoria walked us through, for those of you that were there at the live gathering last night, well done. Victoria walked us through a really beautiful exercise of finding our center and getting us in touch with what words help us identify when we're in our center. And I don't know, maybe she can post a picture of some of those words or stop by the studio and see them and connect with those words and ask yourself, what words that come to my mind when I feel myself centered and grounded? Now, for many of you, you took on the 3-day fruit feast last week. I'm going to post a little prompt in the group to ask how that's been for you. So if you watch this and you want to go ahead and drop your thoughts, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. But one of the things that I did not speak to was what to do on the other side of that fruit feast. So if you have found yourself finishing up the fruit feast or haven't done it or planning on it for this week, I think the most important thing to remember as you come out of the fruit feast, you just flush your body with high quality nutrients. You gave it a break from big, hulky, bulky digestion, and it's really primed. And it's also very fragile is a word that comes to my mind. You create a very clean system. It is delicate. It needs to be loved. It needs to be nourished. And it's not like you went in there and like scrubbed everything out. It's not like that. However, you are very gentle and kind and nourishing and loving to your body for 3 days in a row. If you come out of that and go straight back to that morning cup of coffee, you go straight to those donuts for breakfast time, and you hit up, I don't know, where do kids eat these days? Bojangles for lunch, right? You have all that, you throw it right back into your system, you're going to have this acid to water reaction. And it can cause you to feel kind of yucky. It can definitely give you a food hangover. When I was first getting into nutritional cleansing and being super diligent about changing my body because it was just so wrong and it needed to be different than how it was, I would eat clean for 6 days out of the week and have 1 day a week that I called my free day. I like that so much better than cheat day. It's my free day. I'm free to do whatever I want on my free days. If I want cookies for breakfast, I have cookies. If I want donuts for lunch, I have donuts. If I want pizza for dinner, I have pizza. And whatever I want in between, that's what I would have. It was like my day of indulgence. Lots of things did I learn about myself during this time period. One, I would wake up the next day with literally a food hangover. I would feel like garbage. Because when you eat clean all week long and you put all this garbage in, that's what you're going to feel like the next morning. Garbage. And I had zero interest in going back to food, which is why I was able to keep up with it for so long. But regardless, here's my point. My point is this. If you clean the pipes and then you just dump a bunch of junk right back in there, you're going to have a pretty volatile reaction, or you stand the risk too. So be gentle. Ease your way back out of it. Maybe have a smoothie for breakfast the next morning. Add in a few vegetables, some nuts. Start reintroducing those foods. If you want to do this in a very gentle, loving way, it'll help you to really stay centered. It'll help you to ground. And as you start reintroducing foods, you may have already done this and may already be able to recognize what it is that I'm about to say. As you reintroduce foods, this is a great time to pay attention to how you feel emotionally and physically after consuming that food. Food has a 36-hour food cycle, right? It's a 36-hour cycle in our body. So pay attention to how you feel for the 36 hours that follow getting back onto your normal routine or whatever it is that you go back to. You will be able to begin to identify what foods help you to stay centered. Which ones bring forth those words that we shouted out so beautifully and powerfully and strong last night in the yoga studio, right? Alive, present, calm, at ease, right? Whatever those things are, what foods bring that sensation to you and what foods do not. It's a great thing to know about yourself. You deserve to know this about yourself. Okay. So I want to talk about that with nourishing foods, and there was also a focus on minerals, but I'm going to talk on that in just a minute. So we'll talk about minerals a little bit down the road. Okay. The other theme that came up that was talked about last night is this idea, and this is really on my heart to share, like holding space for y'all. It is against my nature. My nature is to talk and to share and to relieve. So holding the space for you, I just held and I breathed and I waited until today. So here you go. Don't rush the process. Don't rush the process. Now, some of you are sitting there like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want this 40 days to end. I'm giving myself so much loving attention. I really feel supported and connected. I wanted to be like this all the time. And others of you are like, holy Toledos, are we not done yet? Can we just finish right now? Okay, counting down and Xing out the days and just wanting it to be done, wanting to be on the other side, wanting to be on the other side of that 40 days, on the other side of the 40 days after that, on the other side of the 40 days after that, on the other side of the 40 days after that. Sound familiar? Feel familiar? Congratulations, you are normal and human and a product of our society. So don't rush the process. I think I said this on the last week's live, that future story that you want to hurry up and get to about your life is the same story that's taking place right now. You're just at this point in the story, not that point in the story. All will unfold in perfect timing. Don't rush the process. Don't rush the process. Want to know why? Because this is all that there is. Just this. That's it. There's nothing to rush toward. You are living it now. You're living it now. That's a clue on where you need to be. You can't rush it. You can't make it happen faster. And there's no need to rush it because it is happening right now. This is it. What you thought the 40 days was going to bring to you and what the 40 days is actually bringing to you may not be the same thing. That doesn't mean we need to hurry to the end or make it to the next 40 days. It means you need to recognize this aspect about your personality, the expectations that you may set on yourself, the judgments that you have over your circumstances, because that's what you signed up for to learn about yourself. That's what you signed up for. This is it. This is all there is. Are these feelings, these emotions, these awarenesses, this settling, this returning to, that's it. That's enlightenment, my friends. Not constantly being in a state of Zen, but recognizing when you're not and making the conscious choice to return to it. What is more enlightened than that? But if we didn't have the contrast of the other, we wouldn't have enlightenment. So it's not about escaping this. It's not about rushing to the end. It's recognizing that this is all there is, and this is all that there's ever going to be. This is it. I went a couple years ago to see one of my spiritual gurus. This man, he's just glorious. He is love embodied in a way that makes me not even want to look him in the eye because he's just that open and connected, and he sees you. He sees you and you know it. And I expected the event that I attended to be amazing. I mean, like I thought I was going to be moved with some words of brilliance that I hadn't heard. I thought my jaw would be on the floor. I thought I'd get the chills. I thought that I would be lit up in watching him. And you know what I found? It was just all right. I was unimpressed. Not by his presence, he's glorious, but by the words that he taught, the teaching that he brought. I kind of heard like, really? I drove 4 hours and stood outside for how long to come inside and hear you say this? It was kind of basic. Matt, is what I thought to myself until I left, until I woke up the next day. Until I removed myself from the situation and went forward with my life. And as I went through my day-to-day activities, as I went through the next day, as life was unfolding, I couldn't help but think back about what Matt said. I couldn't help but think back about what was said that was so unremarkable at the time. But as I took the words that I heard, that I absorbed, that I carried with me out of that workshop back into the world, beyond the workshop, after the workshop, right? The workshop ended, that's done. The magic happens on the other side. The workshops where you gather the materials, life is where you integrate them, where you use them, where you see the brilliance of them, where you find the wisdom, where you learn about yourself. Not when you're being covered with the blah, blah, blah. That's why we're not blah, blah, blahing all over you. That's why Victoria's only let me talk for 15 minutes, right? Because this is about inquiry. self-discovery, realization. And for all of you that are feeling like you have failed to meet the expectations that you held for yourself for this 40 days, if you walk away from this 40 days with the realization that you hold expectations too high for yourself, or that you even go into situations with expectations, that awareness itself, that one thing that you have found on this journey, that one thing where you failed everywhere else, you discovered that one thing. And maybe it's not that one thing, maybe it's another one thing that you learned about yourself. Maybe you learned you're actually stronger than what you realized. Maybe you learned that it's really hard to follow through when you don't plan ahead of time. Whatever that one thing is that you learned about yourself, if you take that one thing and you run with it, your whole life will change. So do not think you came into this 40 days and you failed because you didn't go to yoga class, or you didn't do your meditation for a day, or you thought that your 1 minute meditation at the red light in traffic didn't count when it totally freaking did. Realize you came to learn something about yourself, to be able to create transformation that lasts in your life, this thing that you desire, and you are finding it. No matter how much you involve yourself or how little you do, you are learning about yourself. You are present. You are here. You are accounted for. You have shown up to some degree, especially if you're watching this. You have done something more than just signed up. You've logged onto Facebook. You've gone into the group. You have seeked out supportive information, inspirational, right? You're amazing. You're exceptional. Stop overlooking these qualities about yourself, and remember, who you are now is not the person that you were when you started this. You're not. You have learned something about yourself. Maybe you love it, maybe you're not so excited about it, but you've learned something about yourself. So do not think you've not done what you came here to do. You're doing it. And that's kind of the secret to all of it, is to realize you're always doing it. Always. Always. And when it doesn't feel like it, that's when you return to these practices. That's when you forget everything that you know. That's when you don't rush the process. That's when you refine your center. That's when you go back to the mat, back to the meditation. That's when you go back to the book. You're so amazing and so beautiful. In every moment, all is indeed well. As I sat amongst that room last night and heard member after member talk about how they failed to have this 40 days turn out how they wanted to, and how things didn't go so well, always remember all is indeed well, and in every moment your needs are met. If you can have that cognitive recognition, you are breathing, you are awake, you are alive. Your basic needs are met. Now it's just a matter of getting more comfortable from there. So you're doing fine. You're doing beautiful. There is nowhere to go to because you're already there. So don't rush the process. Don't rush the process. And let's talk about these minerals, this nutritional component of this week. Minerals are essential for basic metabolical functions in the human body. So they are necessary for growing bones, for sending nerve impulses. They're also responsible for creating hormones. And what's the other thing that I wrote down? Oh, and simple aspects like maintaining our heartbeat. This is why we need minerals. And I get really interested because, you know, I'm a lover of words. I like to expand things. I like to see what's behind this physical component that we need so essentially for these human forms. What is that? What is a mineral? Why do we call it a mineral? What does that even come from, right? These essential building blocks or components to make things happen in the body. And I looked back at the word mineral, and I looked into the origin of the word. I've done like a whole blog series on redefining words based on the origin of words like fear or surrender, agitate, artist, all these words that we use, and they may evoke some sort of feeling. I just went back and redefined them. So I did the same thing with mineral. And I looked at where the origin came from. And the origin of the word mineral, it comes from substance obtained by mining. Substance obtained by mining. Now, maybe if I wasn't part of this 40-day transformation, I would have been like, okay, that's kind of obvious. But because we're part of this 40-day transformation, when I heard the word mining, I thought of excavating, and I thought about inquiry, and I thought about mining down inside yourself to find those gems, to clear the way, and how it is essential for our human bodies to do something even as mandatory and necessary as keeping a regular heartbeat, and how that's found from mining down within. So when we expand this thinking of minerals, as we're flooding our body with essential minerals, can also think about what are the minerals, what are the things that help keep our heartbeat steady through the day. What are the things that help to keep us from not having those fluctuating hormonal swings, right? So there's foods that do this. There's also thought processes, the things that you excavated in your mining sessions as you dug deep throughout this 40 days and will continue to do. Every time you're on your mat, every time you're in meditation, every time you sit down to eat a meal, every time you engage with another human, you have the opportunity to bring awareness to this excavating that you're doing, this mining down inside, this looking at this inquiry, this being okay with the inquiry, this dropping what you know, this centering, this not rushing the process, this trusting. Minerals. What are the minerals? What are the physical minerals that you really need in your body? What are the emotional, the energetic minerals that you need in your body to maintain that homeostasis, to keep that equanimity, and to allow that flow? Okay, love it, love it, love it. Now, if you are someone who loves connection, I have a couple opportunities for you that I wanted to mention here at the end of this. So if you're not interested in that, go ahead and I'll see you next time around, right? And if you're interested in connecting further with more like-minded individuals, I have a couple of opportunities that I'd love to share. I mentioned one of them last night. One of them is a monthly gathering. It happens on the first Wednesday of every month. So the next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, March the 6th. We meet from 8:30 to 10 a.m. You can come anytime in that time frame. If you can't get there until after 8:30 or you need to leave before 10, totally fine. You're still welcome. And this group gathers at the Ugly Mug coffee shop that's at the 4042 area in Garner. So kind of like that Cleveland area, a little bit away from the studio. Sorry about that. But in Garner, 8:30 to 10 a.m., the first Wednesday of the month, there's a back room there, and it's a women empowering women's group. This is just like-minded women who are wanting to build more female relationships with other like-minded women in the community. And we gather once a month, we sit around a table, and we remember how awesome we are. And we uplift and we inspire and we empower one another. And the reason that it came up last night is because what we are doing to help to facilitate the conversation as we're getting this group up and going is that we're taking a look at the 4 agreements. And if you're not familiar with the 4 agreements, totally check it out. But I'm not going to take time right now to talk about it. But we're using the 4 agreements to these beautiful, very simple and profound philosophical perspectives. How can we interweave them into our life as women to become more fulfilled, more empowered, to simplify our life, to bring more peace, more ease in our relationships as wives, as women, as mothers, as sisters, as we journey together in this crazy human journey. So once a month, first Wednesday, 8:30 to 10. If you can't make March, you're welcome anytime. You can also connect with me if you want to get connected to the Facebook group. There is a Facebook group, Women Empowering Women North Carolina. Actually, I'll drop a link below. It'll just make it easy. I'll drop a link for that. The second opportunity that I have happens on the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. This is back over in Clayton from 11:30 to 1:30. Same thing. If you can't make it until after 11:30, fine. Need to leave before 1:30, fine. No problem. We meet at Boulevard West. I think most of us are familiar with that wonderful little coffee shop downtown Main Street of Clayton. We meet there 11:30 to 1:30, second and fourth Wednesday of the month. And this is the same idea, except for this is open to men and women, and it is a leadership circle. So if you are a leader in any facility or any capacity, or if you're a business owner or have something on your heart that you want to bring out into the world, this is a great time to gather with like-minded people with that same intention. Empower, inspire, uplift, and remember that you actually have the answers within you. So let's talk about getting that into action. That's what these groups are focused on. Leadership Circle, the next one's going to be on Wednesday the 13th, and then again on the 27th for the month of March. The last thing that I wanted to invite you to is a virtual gathering that takes place on Facebook every single day, and it's the Conscious Success Community. It is my Facebook community. I thought about y'all this morning because I do a weekly oracle draw. I call it Manifest Monday. Today's Tuesday, but yesterday was a holiday. So Manifest Monday, I do a weekly oracle draw in the group to give you an opportunity to do some self-reflection around a perspective to take into your manifesting endeavors for the week. So it's a lot of fun. I also have a 5-day confidence challenge and a 3-day distraction detox that are posted in the unit section of that group. So if anybody's interested in getting past fear into confidence or getting over some distractions of life, there's just great support in that group as well. So I'll drop a link in that below. And the very last thing that I was going to share with you is that I have another group that's a membership group. It's a membership community in which I am starting a series today, all based on energy mastery. So if you're an energy worker or someone who's been interested in energy work or just interested in energy in general or understanding it, what is it? How do you work with it? What is yours? What is other people's? What does it mean? How can you anchor it? How can you harness it? How can you stop yourself from being depleted of it? And how can you channel and empower yourself with it? All things energy being dropped in a series in my mastermind group. Typically, that group is $111 a month to join. If you are interested in part of this 40 days, I'm going to open the door for just $44. You can join the group. You can go through the energy training that's happening this week. You will also be a part of the community for a full month. That's my gift to you. So you can participate in our monthly group laser coaching session. You can also participate in our group distant healing sessions that are going to be taking place next week in the group. You'll also have direct access to me virtually to look for any support. And if you decide to stick around in that community, I do these every month. I do the group healing sessions, the group coaching sessions, and I drop a powerful master level series every single month. So if anybody's interested in that, I just thought it might resonate with some of you. If you're light workers or not light workers, want to get into healing arts or just want to feel less overwhelmed by life, it's going to be a really powerful series. And I'm off to go get that started in my group. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all out at one of my events and over in my Facebook group. And otherwise, I'm just, again, so honored to be here to support you. I'm excited to bring this last couple of weeks to a close, and I'm still here and reaching out to individuals. So if you haven't heard from me yet, please reach out to me. Make sure that our communications didn't get lost along the way. Okay, love you all so much. See you soon. Bye.